Hello and welcome to ClearSpeak English. My name is Avery and I'm thrilled to have you here with me today. In this series, our goal is simple: to help you speak English more clearly, confidently, and naturally. Today's lesson is titled English Grammar for Speaking Simple and Practical. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. The word grammar can sound intimidating, complicated, and maybe even a little boring. It might bring back memories of difficult tests and confusing textbooks filled with rules that seem impossible to remember. But I want you to put those fears aside. In this lesson, we are not going to dissect every complex rule in the English language. Instead, we're going to focus on the grammar that truly matters for everyday conversation. The practical, essential tools you need to express yourself clearly and effectively when you speak. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the big difference between formal grammar and spoken usage. Think of it like this. Textbook grammar is like a formal three-course dinner. There are specific rules for which fork to use and how to sit. Spoken English, on the other hand, is like having a relaxed barbecue with friends. The goal isn't to follow a strict set of rules, but to enjoy the conversation and communicate with each other easily. In written English, especially formal writing, you might see sentences like, "I do not know the answer." But when we speak, we almost always use contractions. We say, "I don't know." Instead of "I am going," we say, "I'm going." Using contractions like don't, can't, it's, and I've is not lazy. It's the standard, natural way that native speakers communicate. It makes your speech sound smoother and more fluent. Similarly, sometimes we speak in sentence fragments. If someone asks, "Are you ready to go?" you might just reply, "Almost," or "Just a minute." These aren't complete sentences, but they are perfectly understood in context. The real goal of spoken grammar is clear and effective communication, not writing a perfect essay out loud. So, what grammar should you focus on? Let's dive into the essential tenses for speaking. While there are many tenses in English, you can handle the vast majority of everyday conversations by mastering just 4 of them. I call them the Big Four. They are the simple present, the simple past, the present continuous, and the simple future. First up is the simple present tense. We use this to talk about habits, routines, and facts, things that are generally true or happen regularly. For example, I drink coffee every morning. This is a habit. The sun rises in the east. This is a fact. Or she works in a hospital. This describes her regular situation. It's simple, direct, and incredibly common. Next, we have the simple past tense. This one is for any action that started and finished in the past. If you're telling a story about what you did yesterday, last week, or 10 years ago, you'll use the simple past. For example, I watched a great movie last night. They visited Paris 3 years ago. He finished his homework an hour ago. The key is that the action is completely over. Our third essential tense is the present continuous. This is used for actions that are happening right now at this very moment, or for actions happening around the present time. It's formed with the verb to be plus the ing form of the main verb. For example, I am speaking to you right now. You are listening to a lesson. It can also be used for temporary situations like, I am reading a fascinating book at the moment, even if you aren't reading it this second. Finally, we have the simple future. This is for talking about things that haven't happened yet. In spoken English, we mainly express the future in 2 ways, using will or using going to. We often use going to for plans we have already made. For instance, I am going to meet my friends for dinner tonight. This implies I have a plan. We often use will for spontaneous decisions or promises. For example, if your phone rings, you might say, "I'll get it." Or you could promise a friend, "I will call you tomorrow." So, let's review those 4. Simple present for habits and facts. Simple past for finished past actions. Present continuous for what's happening now. And simple future for what's to come. Master these, and you'll be able to communicate in a huge variety of situations. Now that we've covered what to focus on, let's talk about what you can ignore. There are several so-called grammar rules that you may have learned, but which native speakers often ignore in conversation. Let's debunk a few common grammar myths. Myth number 1. Never end a sentence with a preposition. A preposition is a small word like to, from, with, about, or at. You may have been taught that a sentence like, "Who are you talking to?" is incorrect. Technically, the formal rule says it should be, "To whom are you talking?" But honestly, almost no one speaks like that in real life. It sounds very unnatural and overly formal. "What are you looking for?" is perfectly normal. "Where did she come from?" is completely fine. So please, feel free to end your sentences with prepositions. It's natural and correct in spoken English. Myth number 2, never start a sentence with and or but. This is a rule that teachers often use to help students write better paragraphs, but it's not a true grammar rule, especially for speaking. We use and but to connect our ideas all the time. Imagine a friend asks what you did today. You might say, "I went to work and then I went to the gym, but I was too tired, so I came home." See? Starting sentences with these words is a very natural way to link your thoughts together when you're speaking. And myth number 3, you must always use whom correctly. The difference between who and whom can be very confusing, even for native speakers. The simple rule is who refers to the subject of a verb and whom refers to the object. For example, who is calling, but whom did you call? In spoken English, whom is becoming very rare. It sounds extremely formal. In almost every situation, you can use who instead, and you will be perfectly understood. Who did you see at the party is much more common than whom did you see. So don't stress about whom. Focus on speaking naturally. All right, now it's your turn to practice. Theory is good, but speaking is better. I'm going to give you a prompt, and I want you to say a sentence out loud. Don't worry if it's perfect or not. The goal is just to try. I'll leave a long pause for you to think and speak. Ready? First, let's practice the simple present. Tell me one thing you do every day. Your sentence can start with, I. Go ahead. Great. For example, you might have said, I brush my teeth every day, or I listen to music on my way to work. Anything that is a habit or routine is perfect. Now for the simple past. Think about yesterday. What is one thing you did? Start your sentence with, yesterday I. Excellent. Maybe you said, yesterday I called my friend, or yesterday I went shopping. A completed action in the past. You're doing great. Next, let's try the present continuous. What are you doing right now at this moment? Your sentence can be, right now, I am. Good job. You probably said something like, right now, I am learning English, or right now, I am sitting down. It describes your current action. Finally, the simple future. What is one plan you have for tomorrow? You can use tomorrow I'm going to, or tomorrow I will. Your turn. Fantastic. Perhaps you said, tomorrow I'm going to the supermarket, or tomorrow I will finish my project. That exercise is a great way to make these grammar rules active in your mind. I encourage you to do it every day. Just take a minute to form a sentence in each of these four tenses. Now that you're comfortable with the big four, let's add one more incredibly useful tense to your toolkit, the present perfect. This tense can be tricky for learners because it connects the past with the present in a unique way. But don't worry, we'll break it down with some clear examples. So, let's bring it all together. We've covered a lot today, so let's quickly summarize the key takeaways from our lesson on practical grammar for speaking. First, remember that spoken grammar is different from formal written grammar. Your goal is clear communication, not perfection. Embrace natural features of speech like contractions. Second, focus your energy on mastering the four most essential tenses: the simple present for habits, the simple past for finished actions, the present continuous for what's happening now, and the simple future for what's next. And third, don't worry about outdated grammar myths. It's perfectly okay to end a sentence with a preposition or start one with and or but. The most important thing is to practice speaking without fear. The more you use the language, the more natural these grammatical structures will become. Thank you so much for joining me for this lesson. I hope you found it helpful and feel more confident about English grammar. We shall see you in the next episode, which will be about tenses you actually use while speaking English.